going back to Colorado, how many times we have to keep doing that? Huh? I was the only one to pick them in our Saturday special.
That is true.
I believe for the second week in a row. They're here, man. They're starting to give me TCU vibes from last year.
Oh,
That's what they're starting to give me.
Stop it.
What was TCU? It was a good quarterback, talented receivers, a talented running back. You're up front. You were good. I would say TCU was better up front on the offensive line than Colorado. But a defense that would make plays at the right time, would give up huge plays on the ground, would give up huge plays in general, but would find ways to win games.
Mm-hmm.
And right now...
So you think Colorado's going to play in the national championship?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's where TCU
I'm getting somewhat of a resemblance, somewhat of the same feel right now as that TCU from last year. I still think Colorado's ceiling's maybe 9 games. I'd push it up 1 at this point, just the way they played, the way they utterly dominated Nebraska. And I'm not surprised by this with Sims with Nebraska. There's a lot of problems at Nebraska right now on the offensive side of the ball. It's not going to get fixed anytime soon. I'm saying that's my right. Colorado sitting here again. They're for real, boys.
It's funny. I didn't watch that game and see utter domination, even though the score reflected that. It was just these big, crucial moments where Jeff Sims completely turned the football.
The first quarter and a half of that game was
it was really solid. But you got a Colorado team here that played a TCU team that's atrocious on defense, a Nebraska team that's atrocious on offense, and still found a way to win because they're not turning the football over. Yeah. That's what's the most impressive thing to me. And like I said yesterday, Shedeur Sanders is not just some athlete back there at the quarterback position. He is a serious quarterback. Makes the right decision at all time. The football IQ is off the charts. And another thing that we didn't see in week 1 that we did see in week 2, I already talked about all the accuracy and the identification of man coverage, all that. Another thing in week 2, drawing the defense off sides in critical moment. That starts at the quarterback. 3rd and 5, 4th and 3. He's getting them to jump off sides to get those easy first downs. That's high IQ football.
No, without a doubt. And if Shedeur Sanders keeps playing like this, it's going to come down to him or Caleb Williams for the Heisman. In my opinion.
If they win enough games.
If they win enough games. One of them's not. So, Colorado, eventually you're going to run into a team that is just so much better than you. Like, whatever the over-under for the Colorado USC game is going to be absolutely insane. But you got Oregon, a team that's overtly physical. I mean, you look at the Pac-12 right now. I mean, hell, Arizona gave Mississippi State a fight. Cal gave Auburn a fight. Washington State's a really good football team with Cameron Ward out there. The Pac-12, in its last year, in the greatest stroke of irony of all time, is unbelievably good. But like Shedeur Sanders he isn't some guy that was just an athlete running around that's still very raw. He is a quarterback.
Yes.
And the throws he's making off platforms, but more importantly, like you said, the decisions that he's making are Heisman winning decisions.
Yes.
And I mean, Jimmy Horn, Xavier Weaver, the kid
Edwards
kid at running back, Travis Hunter, obviously. You have weapons where you can go out and put up a lot of crooked numbers against a lot of teams. The question I have about Colorado is, because Nebraska's awful at the quarterback position. I'm not going to call them an awful team because 2 weeks in a row, they've played their ass off defensively.
Yeah, they did.
And their defense has given them a chance to win. But at some point, Jeff Sims cannot play quarterback anymore.
Just for the morale of the team,
how can you sit here and talk about the best player's going to play and the guy who's... And look, there's a lot of reasons you lose games. Very rarely is it on one player. A lot of what's going on is Jeff Sims' fault. Let's just be honest. When you can't catch a snap consistently, when you're making the decisions that he's making, you saw late against Minnesota and against Colorado, you can't justify saying, I'm going to play the players that give us the best chance to win and keep letting this guy go out here and blow it. Life's more fun when you're in on the action, so download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use our code CRAIN, C-R-A-I-N, because new customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when they bet just $5 on college football. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code CRAIN, C-R-A-I-N. The crown is yours. I mean, it's the truth.
One more thing on Shedeur Sanders. One thing that will keep him in the Heisman race, too, is a good thing for that, but a bad thing for Colorado football is they can't really run the ball.
Yeah.
So he has to throw it a lot. Yeah, so, I mean, he has to throw the football a lot, so he's going to rack up yardage, but yardage isn't enough. You have to also have a high completion percentage. I think he's at 77 right now. Ridiculous. You also have to have a high touchdown to interception ratio. Well, he hasn't even thrown a pick yet, so all of those things are going to keep him in the Heisman race. Does their lack of a run game and really their inability to stop the run, is that going to lose them enough football games where it moves him out of the Heisman race?
No, it's interesting games. Real quick, I was just going to say, and I've said this on the Saturday special, the reason Nebraska's going to lose this game, that's why I felt bad saying it to Coach Collins.
Me too.
Because he coached at Georgia Tech. I was like, look, Jeff Sims is going to be a liability in this game for probably 4 quarters. And he's like, well, I coach Jeff. I was like, all right.
Yeah, Walter Mitty puts Jeff Sims into the computer. No, can't.
And he made some big plays. He made some big throws. It's not like he can't throw the ball. It was at the worst time.
Big mistakes.
At the worst possible time.
But we have a saying on the show, if somebody keeps showing you who they are, eventually you have to believe him.
Yeah.
He showed you who he was at Georgia Tech. Now he's showing you who he was at Nebraska. At some point, you got to believe him. And I know they don't have greatness behind him, but at some point, you preach accountability. You got to be accountable as a coach. Hey, YouTube, thanks for getting us past 100K. Now we want 100 million. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and grab a person to subscribe as well. We appreciate it.